beds will be for treatment. This is all a homegrown local initiative which the Minister of Information and Communications, Alhaji Alpha Kanu, initiated once the President gave him the instruction to undertake. And I am also pleased publicly to recognize the contributions made by AfriCell, because they donated to us 6 toilet basins for that center. And also, the minister appealed to the Imam of Indonesia, who is Imam Datuk Agung Sadiyu, who contributed a modest amount of 10 million leones with a promise to doing more. I think as a government, we are doing what we can. We all know the good story that is coming from Hastings, whereby we continue to discharge our own people. And these are for us the heroes and the heroines. Just as how we have the British with polio, who after helping us here contracted the virus, was taken to the UK, treated, and because of his continued compassion to come and help us with the fight, he came back to this country. And he is among our heroes in the fight against Ebola. And this is what we needed. And just a few days ago, we received a memo from the UK that the National Health System put out a notice encouraging everybody to sign in so that they can come and volunteer to Sierra Leone. Of the about 50,000 Sierra Leoneans in the health system there, unfortunately, only about 2 people signed. So please, let us continue. Sometimes when you read the social media, you can see a couple of them out there making abrasive observations about how things are not going the right way. If we are having the international community to step up, and the good thing is, the British said, all those that are volunteering to come and work here, they are not going to lose their wages, and they are also going to be paid here. So let us continue to appeal to our own brothers and sisters, particularly those in the diaspora, to come and join us in this fight. Having said that, Mr. Ajibu Jalo will elaborate on a press conference we just had with the chairperson of the African Union, who are also here. They held a meeting with the President, His Excellency, and a quick press conference at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. But I'm sure in his closing remarks, he will delete more on that. But for us, when the Red Cross went on BBC to give a very staggering picture that 100 people have been buried in Western area alone, for us, we know we have challenges. But given an accurate representation of what is on the ground, I think will only help to know the type of support we will need as a country. So what we did, we contacted the burial teams and also contacted the monitoring and evaluation department that is doing all the evaluation and the documentation. And from 7th October to date, that is yesterday, the total number of burials in the Western area stand at 117. These are confirmed Ebola burials. 7 October to date. So if you do a statistical analysis, how much that will be per day in terms of frequency, it will definitely not even be 20 per day. But for us, we are not going to open a fight with anybody. When you give the information there, we go and get what is the accurate information, we come and give it to the public and the international community. Because in the future, that is why in the burial team itself, you have the Sierra Leone government, that is the Sierra Leone Army, you have the British Army, and you have the Red Cross, and also concern worldwide. These are the people in the burial team, so which means whatever statistics that comes from there, it must be representative and also accurate. Briefly on the Kono incidents that happened, we want to congratulate the Sierra Leone police. And they have also received commendation from you, members of the 4th Estate, the professional way they handled that impasse there. Because when President Nkrumah spoke to the nation on July the 30th this year, when he evoked Section 29, subsection 5, proclaiming the public state of emergency, it was very clear that the Sierra Leone police and the military should support the medical teams so that they can undertake their activities without any let or hindrance. So we said people should report early when they have any symptoms of Ebola. So the case along Post Office Road in Kwedu Town was somebody almost 90-year-old exhibiting the symptoms of Ebola. The burial team went in there, the medical team went in there, specifically the surveillance team. They were restrained from doing their work. Some personnel were invited from the Sierra Leone police. They went there, they used community relations approach. That didn't work. They retired and convened a meeting of the media, civil society, and other stakeholders in the country, in the community, with a view to an amicable resolution. When they went there, some youth took it upon themselves with cutlasses and stones and started pelting at the Sierra Leone police. But the good thing though is some journalists were also manhandled because they said those journalists were on the radio misinforming the public that Ebola was real when in fact Ebola was a farce. So you can see the challenges we have. So the youth said this is uncalled for, Ebola is real, and SLBC of course was threatened to be burnt down in Kwedu Town. So the journalist Mohamed Lamin, we spoke with him, he's recovering from the, I can't say the mobbing he received, but he was manhandled. But this is where we are. So our continued appeal as a government is Ebola, the only way we can fight Ebola is when we have the cooperation of the public. This is where we'll continue to rely on you members of the 4th Estate. Let us talk to our people, particularly the electronic media, and speaking in the local languages of the people. Let them understand that whatever the conspiracy theories about Ebola, let us accept that there is a disease called Ebola, which can only be contained by avoiding the transmission through body contacts. And please, do not interfere with the medical teams when they are doing operations related to Ebola. That is why we are trying to even remove all Ebola cases from the main government referral hospitals so that people can continue to go to these hospitals by the time we complete another 200-bed facility at Hastings, wherein we can have 100 more for holding and 100 more for a treatment. On that note, I'll just request Mr. Jallo to give a quick update on this press conference that was held with the African chairperson. Then we open the floor to questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Abdulai Bayraytay. Good afternoon, everybody. Today, this morning, we were visited by Her Excellency Dr. Nkosazana Lamina Zuma. She happens to be the chairperson for the African Union Commission. She is on a 3-country visit this morning. Start with Sierra Leone, and then she is in flight now to get to Liberia, and finally Guinea. And of course, she's here to empathize with us. She's here to listen to our issues and see how effectively and how efficiently she can coordinate with members of the African Union to come to our aid in the eradication of this Ebola scourge. Attendance in that meeting, well, she started off with a meeting with the Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, who escorted her to meet with the President. After leaving State House, she met with members of the legislature at Parliament, after which we had a press conference at the Ministry of Information and, Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation's Conference Center. That conference was attended by the Minister of Finance and Economic Development, chaired by the Minister of Information. And the Minister of Finance wasted no time to inform her that the economic condition is deplorable, the economic condition is going to be adverse. He talked about the fact that growth was set at 11.3%, and that is diminishing very quickly. He talked about the fact that London Mining, one of a few mining companies we have in the country, is now in administration. That means things are going really bad, and they are not doing anything. They're at a standstill. He was able to emphasize that beyond Ebola, if we can get beyond Ebola, things will be extremely difficult for all economic aspect in Sierra Leone. And she listened quite attentively, and by the looks of things, we're hopeful. We are optimistic that she'll be able to put the machinery in gear to be able to support us through this fight in Ebola and effectively our post-Ebola support. That's that for her visit. Like I said, she's on her way to Liberia now. It was a quick one, but let's come back to questions for this purpose, for this today's conference. So I'm going to start off with the gentleman over there. I want to ask you, please, we have the minister here, we have questions from the communications director from the Ministry of Health, so I want you to be very quick with your questions, single barrel if possible, so we can get as many questions as possible. Go. Name and your establishment.
My name's Ato Bentok, a New People newspaper. I have a question for Mr. Tunis. Is Ebola a weaponized virus? Is Ebola a weaponized virus?
Okay, thank you.
My name is David Ellen.
What's your name again?
David Ellen. One question for Mr. Tunis and the other for the Minister of Education.
One question.
Please.
One question.
Okay, for the Minister of Information.
The Minister of Education?
Yeah. What will be the fate of the 2014 Beke candidate? Can you highlight some of the challenges you just mentioned during your speech? Please, Mr. Bayraytay, I want to...
Go ahead, quickly.
Yeah. What has been the work of the Birth and Death Commission in registering those dies of Ebola? Because a few days back, I went to the Birth and Death Commission for information. But the deputy registrar told me that they have no official record on people dies of Ebola. So I want to know what has been the work of...
Okay, thank you very much. Willie, CTN.
Willie Sipanos College.